I wasn't looking for advice that day. Honestly, I was just trying to get through it. Life felt stuck. Everywhere I looked, someone seemed to be moving forward while I was standing still. Friends were getting promoted. Some were getting married. Others seemed to have their entire future figured out. Every time I opened social media, it felt like another reminder that everyone else was winning while I was falling behind. And the worst part wasn't that I was failing. The worst part was that I was trying. I was working hard. I was doing my best. But no matter what I did, it felt like I wasn't getting anywhere. One afternoon, after another frustrating day, I found myself sitting alone waiting for a bus. My mind was full of questions I couldn't answer. What am I doing wrong? Why does everything feel so difficult? Why does everyone else seem so far ahead? That's when an older man sat down beside me. He looked ordinary. Nothing about him stood out. We exchanged a few polite words, and somehow the conversation drifted toward life. I don't remember everything we talked about. I don't even remember his name. But I remember what he said next, because it stayed with me for years. At some point, I admitted that I felt behind in life. I told him it seemed like everyone around me was moving faster than I was. He listened quietly for a moment and then smiled. Not the kind of smile that says he had all the answers. The kind of smile that comes from someone who has lived long enough to understand something important. Then he said, "The problem isn't that you're moving slowly. The problem is that you're staring at everyone else's road." I didn't know what to say. At first, it sounded simple, almost too simple. But the more I thought about it, the more it bothered me. Because deep down, I knew he was right. I spent so much time measuring my life against other people that I had stopped paying attention to my own journey. Every achievement felt smaller because someone else had achieved more. Every step forward felt meaningless because someone else seemed further ahead. I wasn't appreciating my own progress because I was too busy comparing it to someone else's. And honestly, I think a lot of people are doing the same thing today. We compare our careers, our relationships, our finances, our appearance, our success, and even our happiness. We scroll through carefully selected moments of other people's lives and wonder why our own life doesn't look the same. But what we're comparing isn't reality. We're comparing our everyday struggles to someone else's highlight reel. That conversation changed the way I looked at my life. Not overnight, not magically, but slowly. I started paying more attention to my own path instead of constantly looking left and right. I began celebrating small victories that I would have ignored before. I stopped treating my life like a race I was losing and started seeing it as a journey that was uniquely mine. And the strange thing is, once I stopped obsessing over how far ahead everyone else seemed, I finally started feeling lighter. Not because my problems disappeared, not because success suddenly arrived, but because I wasn't carrying the extra weight of comparison anymore. Looking back now, it's amazing how one short conversation with a stranger could leave such a lasting impact. I never saw him again. He probably has no idea that I still remember what he said. But sometimes the most important lessons don't come from famous people, successful people, or motivational speakers. Sometimes they come from ordinary people who happen to say exactly what you need to hear at exactly the right moment. So, let me ask you something simple. Have you ever received life-changing advice from someone you never expected? And if this story connected with you, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Win for more honest conversations about life, growth, and the lessons we often learn when we least expect them.